Grand Finals of the Divergent Gaming Open. I am Tempestorm Zoya, and with me is Tempestorm Dreadnought. Dread, how are you feeling about this Grand Finals?
I'm excited just because it's going to be Blaze, the University Edition versus Gale eSport. So two teams that we definitely know, and both are formidable. So I think it's going to be a really good matchup. But that gets me excited here, especially because it is going to be a best of three. So it won't be like that one game possible cheese situation. We're going to be able to see who is the better team here. I do believe these two were the teams were the ones that were also in the finals last week. I might be wrong with that. I think it was, honestly. I feel like Gale Force kind of made ease of their opponents here. I think they definitely played them for the most part, but it's going to be nice to see a Blaze or UTA Heroes of the Dorm team does make the comeback here and showing that their practice is going to be paying off.
Yeah, we'll see how it's going to go. I mean, Yuge is slowly becoming one of my favorite supports, not just North America, but the game. His Lieutenant Morales is so good. He's not only efficient with healing, but he's efficient with his mana and his positioning. He is just really mastering that here to the point that teams start banning Lieutenant Morales versus Blaze, and now they're starting to pick Lieutenant Morales up in the first three picks when their first pick. So, Ryuge's power on this hero is really impressive, and he will be playing with this team today. I don't know what the full roster is. You said it's slightly different than Blaze.
Yeah, it's not the official Blaze roster. At least it wasn't last week. It might be this week. The current roster out of this group is going to be. Give me 1 second. It's loading up. It's going to be there is How to Win, Ball and B, or excuse me, that's the wrong roster. Maybe not. Yeah, it's on Gale Force. Sorry.
Yeah.
There we go. It's going to be Huge, Miss Cure, Claudius, and DXN.
Who's the fifth? You said four names.
Huge, Miss Cure, Claudius, and DXN.
Oh, Mist Cure.
Yeah.
Okay, so only Claudius and Yuge then.
Yes.
All right, well, guys, the draft is starting for game one. If you are excited for this match, let us know in the chat. As Gale Force Esports has that first pick, first ban on Infernal Shrines. Let's see what they want to deny. We've seen a lot of Zagara bans in this position. We see a lot of Rhaegar bans as well. And there it is. Gale Force going to be denying the Zagara.
The question is, are they going to be looking for the fall set as their first pick if they let the Rhaegar go through? Just like we saw, well, you said Blaze is the other team that likes to do that, correct? They kind of let the Rhaegar go through and then
sometimes
fall set. Okay, they're a little more.
Sometimes,
iffy.
Red, you could say they disregard the Rhaegar. Sometimes they just disregard him altogether.
I don't know if I'm proud or disappointed right now. But
I've been saying that joke for like the last week, and I'm gonna tilt everyone in the audience. And there they go again. Rhaegar's been disregarded through two pick rotations.
Oh
Red.
man, the Stitches Jaina right out the gate there.
Yeah, man.
A lot of teams do really like that Stitches and seem to just pick it up first pick there in this type of situation. So interesting choice from Blaze. How is Gale Force going to respond to this time? With Jaina being out the gate, it's going to be unique to see if they want to look towards more of like a Kael'thas in this situation. It does give their team really slow scaling. Also with Zagara banned out, if they're worried about the solo lane, this isn't a map where the 1-4 strat's that dominant, but Thrall is also a really scary hero to work with. Rhaegar is going to be locked in there. Definitely like that pickup. I don't know if I like the Kael'thas, but they're going to move into it.
Like I was saying in the previous drafts, I don't know if Kael'thas needs to be prioritized this early on.
Yeah, I agree.
Jaina, Falstad are both great damages. You still have Lunara, who's starting on the rise. I think as people get more comfortable with Lunara, I feel that Lunara might be replacing Kael'thas. She is squishier, yes, but she scales harder late game, in my opinion. And with the changes to Kael'thas, where his stun is less reliable at keeping him alive, as it is shorter now duration, and as well as Arcane Bear is nerfed, he is a much squishier target. And you have to get really close for Chain Bomb to get value. And you see a lot of Kael'thas failing at that. Where Lunara, her poke, she does just as much damage late game, if not more damage than Kael'thas. And when you get the level 16 talent that increases her range, she just does infinite. Her safety and positioning is so much stronger late game. So maybe we'll see Lunara eventually replace Kael'thas. But it's definitely, like, I agree with you completely. Seeing Kael'thas this early is a bit surprising.
Is Zarek going to be banned out and instantly going to be responding with a Cho'Gall? Maybe. It's going to be hovered here by Blaze. That was a strategy they ran last week. And it seems like it's one that they like. Their opponents, Gale Force Esports, Blaze took Cho'Gall game 1 lost, and then Gale Force took it game 2, and then proceeded to beat them with it, kind of saying, "Hey, we're going to show you how to play this here." But it is going to be hovered here. I don't know how I feel about this. So largely with the double tank, Jane is a solid damage dealer. Yes, she complements the stitches. Yes, but I just feel like she isn't very good with that Cho'Gall. So I like to see them pull away from that. They're trying to tilt you, you know?
Yeah. They do this all the time when I cast them. They hover random heroes like Arcane and Dazzle trick them. So give a little insight onto scrims. Cho'Gall versus Blaze has become a first ban for a lot of teams. Blaze has figured out. So now this is not the true Blaze like we've talked about, but Blaze has been used. They are next level obnoxious with this hero. And if you're gonna run Cho'Gall on any map, it's this one. Cho'Gall is a late scaling hero where his value in the early game is much worse, but when you get those later talents, his damage gets much better, and his survivability gets much better as well. And on a map like Infernal Shrines, where the map objective, when it comes to sieging, is almost useless. Even late game, we see 30-minute games where someone will get a Punisher and push with it and won't even get a keep. So if you're going to run Cho'Gall, this is definitely the map to do it on, and it's Blaze, or former or part Blaze, so they know how to abuse this hero to his fullest potential.
Absolutely, and it's going to be a situation to see like how well they can actually play it out with Gale Force being such a dominant team. They are running a non-Tyrande just blow up face roll style comp as they ran before, at least not yet when it comes to their draft. Having the Rhaegar is going to be a little bit different there. Lunara being hovered, so if this is locked in, there's going to be an absurd amount of spread damage there from their team, but also they're going to have this really hard time killing targets if Falstead's not on them, just because the large health pools. Lunara definitely struggles against those. She does an absurd amount of raw damage. It's just that when it comes to a single target, it's not instant. It's really spread. And against heavy health pools, she's going to have a hard time securing kills.
Well, last pick looks like it could be potentially be the Uther here. Interesting pickup for this composition, as I don't know how much value you'll get out of Uther. I think Lieutenant Morales. Then there it is. Boom. You showing his hero Uther. While he does have good burst healing and the Divine Shield can be used, doesn't really fit too well in this combination because, yes, Uther has good burst healing, but topping off a Cho'Gall with Uther would be so hard. Even when you get 16 in Benediction and you use your Holy Light on Cho'Gall twice,
takes forever.
It still takes forever. Lieutenant Morales is such a better pickup here. And, I was hyping it up before the draft even started. Usually Lieutenant Morales might be the best in North America. I honestly think he is a god on this hero.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how it's played out, but a little bit of a soft counter there. Lunara and Kel'Thas, if they get a lot of damage output, Morales is going to struggle to be able to keep that up. Obviously, with the Cho'Gall, as you were talking about, being the really great pickup for them, and the synergy with Morales, but if Cho'Gall isn't really that effective, the spread damage from Lunara and Kel'Thas is going to be really hard for Morales to deal with. She's only good at healing that single target, so it's going to come down to how well Blaze positions the Cho'Gall and how well Gale Force focus fires, or what they do decide to do when it comes to their focus fire.
Oh, I got invited to a lobby and then everyone left, so.
Oh, get wrecked.
Get wrecked. Lunara, okay, so Gale Force, I think I like their comp. This is so late game heavy. And this is the perfect map to run late game on. It really is. This map is, you can lose the early game. You can lose so many Punishers, but yeah, it's if this draft's gonna work. I mean, I've seen Blaze run a similar composition to this, where they went double warrior with Kel'Thas Lunara, and they were losing the early game, losing the early game, and then suddenly they hit 16, and then they got a 3-level lead out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's just the power of Kel'Thas and Lunara. So as long as they don't get stomped in the early game, but Blaze's Cho'Gall, it's tough. It's tough to play against.
Yeah, I definitely think there's going to be a lot to worry about this game. Not only are you going to be worried about the Cho'Gall is going to be providing the sight, stitches, hooks are going to be coming left and right, and that's one of those things when it comes to Gale Force composition. It's really dependent on getting its damage out over long periods of time with the chain bomb procs, with Lunar's spread poke damage at 13-16. Gust is usually not the most easily forced ultimate in the game, so those stitches, hooks are going to be absolutely crucial to the success of this composition and whether or not they're able to get a kill off of it. But as you said, we're going to be moving in to game number 1 in the grand finals here at the Divergent Gaming Amateur Tournament, and it is going to be UTA's Heroes of the Dorm Team, which is being nicknamed Blaze just because they do have some of the players from the Blaze roster on it, and then they're going to be taking on Gale Force eSports here on Infernal Shrines.
Well, guys, this is going to be an exciting matchup here. I'm curious as to where these, like you said, these guys won last week. The new Blaze lineup. What are they calling themselves? I keep calling them
It's just
Blaze.
UT. I think it's UTA, Heroes of the Dorm.
UTA. What is that? University of Texas of Austin?
I actually do not know.
I don't know. But okay, I'm cool. I'm curious to see how Cure, Mist, and DXN 817 are going to do. I mean, Gale Force Esports, yes, they are still at the amateur level, about to hit that semi-pro level, but they're not a team that can be slept upon. So we'll see how this lineup can do versus each other. We're trying to load into the map, guys. Almost there, Dread. Dreadnought, we're almost there, dog.
So close yet so far. But yeah, we are going to see. I think a lot of it is going to come down to the Cho'Gall and Morales when it comes to the roster of UTA. I think that's absolutely crucial to their success, and I think honestly, I feel like the hooks as well. I don't know personally because I haven't seen the terror that is Blaze that everybody's been talking about. I have heard it from beyond just you, a couple other people about how Blaze has just been ruining people when it comes to that Cho'Gall. But honestly, they ran it last week in this tournament and they didn't seem too impressive with it. This version of Blaze, keep in mind UTA. So I want to know if they kind of took some of the Blaze practice, applied it a little bit more to this UTA team.
I find that hilarious, by the way, that these two teammates of Blaze, with how bizarre Blaze's play style is. You'd think like we're going into Heroes of the Dorm, we got 3 new players who are, not at the competitive level. Let's just play some standard drafts, right? No. They're going to bring on the full-on cheesy Blaze play style with 3 new guys who are probably, not at the highest level of play. I think it's a bold move.
It's definitely a bold move. I agree with you there. And so these teams, oh my gosh, somebody's hamster's falling off the wheel at the 90% here. It's so close, it's so far.
Well, we've been talking about the Stitches lag as of late, and well, there he is in this load
he's
screen.
Showing. He's showing.
He's showing it. Almost there, boys. Almost there. Daihu, something's wrong on his end, man. He's just trying to, like you said, feed those hamsters, get them going again, bro.
What I'm really interested to see out of the comp when it comes to Gale Force is just really. Have you seen any variations of builds when it comes to Lunar? For the most part, do people go with like a poke Q build oriented, or is it always like auto attack? Or
it's usually just the poke style.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Let's go ahead and introduce our 2 teams here. As this is on the left-hand side of the map, it's going to be the UTA Hotted team. It's going to be DNX 817 on Stitches. Cure playing Jaina. Claw Mist going to be our Cho'Gall this game. And rounding up the team is going to be Huge playing the Lieutenant Morales.
Yes, and in the red trunks here, we are going to have Gale Force Esports once again fighting over their belt, kind of, if you will, here. Ball and Beast will be playing on that Lunara. Hexa will be on the Rhaegar. Darhu will be on the ETC. Mysticles once again on the Falstad. Such a comfort there. And A. Lamal will be playing the Kel'Thas.
Well, let's see here, Dreadnought, as we're moving in. Now, one of the reasons that Cho'Gall is considered better on this map is, as we do have Daihu getting hooked here, don't think too much will happen in this early fight, is Gall's infinite mana resource, that he can just constantly cast spells. And, his overall technique combined with that. Cho'Gall can sit on the edge of these Infernal Shrines and poke for days and just easily secure himself the minions for the shrines. That's why he's got so much value here. And a thing I like about Yuja's play as well, and I want people to keep an eye on through this game, is his Lieutenant Morales. You'll always see him cancel his healing stream when someone's at about 90% HP, knowing that just the passive regen as well as health gloves will top him up, and that keeps his mana sustained so much better in these long team fights.
Yeah, not only that, it actually removes the ability to not gain maximum value on your Q. That's a whole nother conversation to have that takes way too long to explain, but really well done from Hughes there to make sure that he doesn't risk his mana too much. They do decide to go with a 1-1-3 here on the side of Blaze, or UTA, excuse me, and then also Gale Force responding with the exact same situation. Not as good a wave clear as their opponents here. Not with the Rhaegar, at least, and so Stitch is going to be battling in the 1v1 there, and Jaina is going to be on the top with Mysticles. Nothing too crazy when it comes to builds here at level 1. I don't think anybody took anything that is considered out of the ordinary quite yet. Daihu going on the mid lane. Not going to dive there to try and get that stun out. The hook actually going to land on Alamau, but it's not going to be enough to secure a kill. Gravity Lapse and a little bit of harass. And the Shrine's going to spawn, and as you were talking about before, a lot of it's going to come down to the poke. How well the poke from the Cho'Gall here is going to come out, which is going to be the Claw Mist, but then also past that point, what I think a huge threat point, especially in this early game, is going to be the Stitches Jaina combo.
Yeah. I wouldn't be too upset if Gale Force Esports gave up maybe the first few punishers, at least safely siege them down as Clo misses in a really awkward spot. Claudius actually taking a lot of damage. Hexa goes in for the fair lunge, not going to be able to kill him. Yuge is rotating down, and I mean, Yuge will be able to top him off, but this is a long channel for him to get healed up. He's starting to swap it over to Stitches, a lot of damage on this backline, and this is exactly how I feel Gale Force needs to fight this. It's just slowly poke them down. You know, if they, it looks like they're starting to collapse and back out, because they will lose this early game fight versus this composition. Like you said, the burst from Jaina alone, who does get the power slide out of there, nice gravity laps coming out from Ilamo. They just need to keep poking in with the false set hammerings, and Ball and Beast with his poke on the his Q there, as they cannot overextend. And Hexo's finally back in this fight, healing up his teammates. It's 24-20, and this just shows you the constant siege of Claw Mist here, as they're trying to get this down. Hexo with a little bit more poke, Daihu getting low above. Hexo has to be careful not to overextend. Those hooks could be devastating. The Warriors are starting to move up to that front line, doing a lot of damage to Mysticles, but they're trying to turn this around. Great healing from Yuge so far, keeping up this front line. The double Warrior been taking so much damage, but he's doing a good job of spreading his healing between the two of them and keeping them both topped out. Hoof comes out from Stitches, not going to secure any kills, but the Shrine is going to go over to Gale Force Esports. Really good patience on their end, not trying to force a fight, and just slowly poke down the minions.
Yeah, no, they did a really good job there. And honestly, I got a little bit afraid. The minute that Hexo backed and Daihu took a large amount of poke, Blaze was not able to capitalize. UTA, excuse me, they picked Blaze in the draft, and now I'm reading off of that, and I'm going to be calling them Blaze all game. I do apologize. But UTA ended up not capitalizing off that situation very well. So then Gale Force is going to walk away with that, and I agree. That is a very winning situation for them because of their comp and their scaling. So really well done from Gale Force, understanding what they need to do, being willing to risk or not take any risks that they don't absolutely have to. Mystically is getting a lot of damage out here on Kira on the top lane, though. Without a Q, though, he's not going to be able to secure that kill. But Merc Control going to go in the advantage of Gale Force at this point, trying to pick some up, get some of the pressure against their opponent. One huge downside to Blaze's comp is they have legitimately zero wave clear outside of Jaina. So keeping this pressure is going to gain way...
Well, Cho'Gall's got rate clear.
For one lane, so that's drawing two people, right? So as long as you split push, you overcommit the rotations every single time. So like, yes, he does, but it's two heroes, so you can force a bad rotation out of your opponents. I guess that's more of what I'm trying to harp on than anything. I would like to see them try and capitalize, but they're going to cap a little bit too slow, and then Jaina is going to be taken down to the upper half of the map. I didn't get to see that. I apologize for that, ladies and gents.
Well, yeah, I mean, the whole point of this composition for Blaze is to just make it to the late game to where Cho'Gall, Stitches, Jaina is unkillable, right? You know, you're not going to be able to kill the Jaina. She's got great mobility with a bolt as an ice block, and then the Stitches and Cho'Gall late game are just, they scale so heavily with their HP that they're so hard to kill, especially with Lieutenant Morales. So the whole plan is just to make it to the late game in one piece. Now, taking a look at these talents here from Lunara, if you're new to Lunara playstyles, I feel she's going to be on the rise soon. Level 1, we do see the Blossom, so that increases the Noxious Blossom's radius by 20%. At level 4, you get the Nimble Wisp, just for the increased movement speed and vision radius. And then at level 7, we see the Nature's Culling, which is the most important talent for this map. All it takes is one auto attack from Lunara on the minions, and the poison will be enough to secure the kill. So you often see Lunara just slowly poking them down with auto attacks, still throwing out her Q to secure kills, but it's just so much more efficient at clearing out the minions on the shrines.
Absolutely. I love the talent, honestly, on every map, actually. It's one of my go-to ever since I started playing her on her release. I thought it was one of the most interesting talents that she had, but that was a really good hook from Stitches over the wall there. Rhaegar ended up falling down because of that, but now the shrines have spawned. Their opponents are looking to siege up. Lunara using that Nature's Culling to get a push down here, and again, the lack of wave clear from their opponents showing the 4 versus 5 in the upper half of the map. Are they going to be able to capitalize?
We'll see here. Clo Mist at the front line trying to get what they can on this point. Good siege so far. Yuge topping off Cure down below. Nice swap over to Clo Mist to heal him up. Cho'Gall leading the front line as well as he can. And a slight experience lead coming out so far for Gale Force. Ball and Beast has to be careful though. Why is he so far forward on Lunara? He does fall back there. Hexa doing a good job of keeping him up. But you have to be so careful on Lunara. One of the squishy heroes in the game with no true escape.
Yeah, it definitely was a little bit of a risk there, maybe on positioning, but they are leading 8 skulls there. The damage on the bomb coming back, hitting 2 targets is absolutely huge, and that's the poke we were talking about from that Cho'Gall. Ball and Beast with a massive blizzard going to hit on top of him. I don't know if he's going to survive. Gravity Lapse comes up here, but look at the health bars of Gale Force, so low. There's no way they're going to be able to heal this, but they only need 20 more. It looks like they're going to move back in, Zoe. This is going to be pretty risky.
Yeah, this is such a tough fight to try and force here. 17-21, and everyone on the end of UTA Hada team is still very healthy. Usually getting a little bit low on mana, but for the most part, everyone's still topped off. They're trying to reforce this fight. A good Blizzard comes out, hitting Hexo. Clomis going for the body block, and they pin Ball and Beast up there. He's taking a lot of damage. Yuge trying to get in range. That's going to be a very dead Lunara. Hexo trying to Kai back. Good body blocks from Yuge, pinning him in there. Hexo's going to fall. Daihu trying to get out of here. Clomis getting so very low. Mystically's trying to secure that hill, but Yuge, the god, keeping him alive the entire time. That's going to be the death of Falstad. Daihu's not going to get away either. A 4-for-0 exchange, securing them those heroics and the rest of this shrine.
Absolutely. That's going to also be the level 10 there. So what are they going to take? They end up going the Hammer of Twilight here when it comes to the Cho. Gale is going to go Shadow Bolts as well here. Stimdrone going to be picked up for the medic. So a little bit different also than I think I expected out of these comps, but I like where it's going here. And then the 10 secured for their opponents. They are going to be down a little bit here when it comes to this Punisher, but it's not going to be gaining too that much. And honestly, that's okay as long as Gale Force doesn't risk a little too much here at this time. They're going to be okay because, again, their comp kind of scales at the 13-16 is where they see a spike, especially when it comes to Lunara. Good Gus coming out there to save Bambi just to make sure John Cena doesn't get the kill on there. But overall, no team gaining too big of a lead unless a big Stitches hook comes out at some point. I definitely like how Gale Force has been able to play that. I think that their engage right there at the very top was a little bit too risky. Ball and Beast is going to die here.
Yeah,
he's dead.
You have to, you cannot. This is why when I talked about Lunara, she is a slow rolling hero. She doesn't get her value mainly until 13 when you get that increased range. This Lunara keeps going in for auto attacks, trying to get as aggressive as possible, and you just really can't do that. You get punished so hard, and we're seeing that happen time and time again, that she just goes in for these autos and then immediately gets collapsed upon.
I think that's kind of like a mental side effect of taking Nature's Calling in some to some extent. When you auto attack turrets and stuff and you see the health drop so fast, you're like, man, my auto attacks just destroy stuff. But then you realize slowly but surely it's only on structures and non-heroics, and then you realize your auto attacks are not like useful at all. And without speccing into it, it kind of hurts. I definitely think that might be a little bit of play here, but Falstad's going to rotate to the mid lane. The 13 tier advantage still going to be achieved by Blaze before their opponents here. And Hexo maybe getting caught out. Really great use of hammer there. Stitches hook coming out, but oh man. He's going to be able to survive this situation. They're going to look to maybe turn this fight. Falstad's flanking from above, and so is Lunar here, Zoya.
Trying to get this fight down. Isla Maul getting pretty low. By Claw miss. Mystically's coming in. They do get the Gust and pin them into the corner. A big Putrid Bile going down. He's trying to wall off the opponents as well as he can, but Yuge gets taken down by Isla Maul. The Living Bomb going to be able to secure that kill, and Clomis has to get out of here. And that is going to be a big win there for Gale Force Esports, securing the kill on Yuge.
And that is honestly what they need to do for the rest of these team fights. If they sit back and let Cho'Gall stand in the position that he needs to up front and let Yuge just do his thing in the back half of the map, they aren't going to get anything out of this. Mystically's going top to get the soak. They aren't going to get anything out of it. So for the first time, getting that Gust to isolate him, be able to get on him and do a lot of damage, and that was without the power spike that you see at 13 for Kael'thas, and a little bit from Lunara there as well. So really good job from Mystically's. I'd like to see him keep doing that with that very short cooldown. Get the positioning on Medic, make sure he's never able to safely heal, and if they do that, I really fear that Blaze's comp might not be able to compete because they don't do so well when they're forced a fight. When the Stitches is bad when the fight is forced on top of him. Cho'Gall isn't necessarily the best without the Nether. He's very much, he wants to choose his own fight. Ring of Frost is the only good counter engage, and Stimdrone's also very weak. So I really feel like that aggressive Gust is going to be absolutely crucial here for Gale Force Esports.
You know, I've been talking about the range level 13, but I love this pickup from Lunara going Giant Killer instead. That's going to help so much versus this tanky Cho'Gall. And look how hard he's getting chalky. He has to pop the Molten Block very early here. Yuge getting flanked by Mystically's. A great collapse coming down. And I think Gale Force has this fight. Shadow Bolt Volley goes down. It's going to be a death of Rhaegar, but Cho'Gall's going to fall. That's 2 heroes down, and suddenly it's a 3 versus 4 with just 1 hero dying. That's one of the downfalls of Cho'Gall, is if you lose them, that's 2 players dead.
And it's a situation where the threat on Yuge was enough. They didn't let Cho'Gall just sit in front and you sit him back, and they walk away with a very winning situation. And I honestly feel like that's going to be the story here all day if Gale Force manages to just play around that around the weakness of their opponent's comp. Honestly, even if late game Cho'Gall gets that threatening position, I would like to see Mystically's even just fly behind them, but he does rotate top to get the soak up here, just because I really think that's the only way they win team fights. They have a very one-minded kind of composition here when it does come to UTA here, and I really feel like Gale Force Esports is the veteran enough team to be able to counter it.
Well, we do see a big push here in the bottom lane. We'll see if they can secure themselves the first fort of the game, but the Punisher's still so very weak. Clomis going to try and push Daihu and Isla Maul out of here. Grablaps does not end up connecting. Hook does not connect with anyone as well. It looks like this fort will survive here. They're trying to push back into it, but I think the siege from Clo Miss is going to be enough to deny this. And this is one of the reasons why you can do a composition with Cho'Gall on this map, why you can do compositions with Kale Foster on this map, is because even with winning that fight, even with the Punisher being taken there in a lane that the wall was already down, it was not able to. They were not able to secure a fort. It's so hard to win a structures with just a Punisher. You need to have like a wipe behind it, like what potentially could be happening right here. They're going straight for Jaina and the Stitches. Future Ball popped early. Cure is in a terrible spot, and he is going to fall. Hits a 3-man Ring of Frost, but with no follow up there. That is a very dead Jaina.
Look at Mystically's flying to try and get that deep gust there as well. I'd like to see them try and capitalize on this with at least a structure. They need the structures here, at least the forts, in order to ensure the fact that when they get the Punisher in the lower half, that they get a lead, they're able to try and close in on the game and get a keep and get a lot of pressure here. So with this small lead here, I would like to see them capitalize it. The minute they see Stitches top, honestly, I would fly behind them. They need to try and force this fight as best as they possibly can. And again, the aggressive decision making from them is really what's going to set them apart when it comes to team fighting. They've done pretty well with the last two, but it's going to be absolutely crucial they do that when they reach level 20. Their comp cannot deal with Cho'Gall just sitting in front of it and taking all the damage, and you just sitting back healing everyone.
Level 16 picked up by both teams here. Pretty big tier for both of these guys. Arcane Barrier allows Kael'thas to be a little bit more aggressive. One of the downfalls of Chain Bomb is the range on it. You have to get very close to get effective Chain Bombs off. Sometimes you have to walk past melee frontliners as well to do that. So an Arcane Barrier, even with its nerf, still allows some that extra safety here. And trying to push in this middle fort here, trying to secure himself to fort. Clomis actually getting very, very low, but Falset's not in this fight. Perfect time to force. Shadow Bolt volley goes out. Daihu hit with a big ancestral healing though, and I don't think that UTA Haunted can finish this fight.
Yeah, and that was a 4 versus 5, and they're losing this fight. Hexo is going to end up going down here. Cho'Gall is going to ice block, barely able to survive, but I don't think he's going to actually... Oh, the movement speed mixed with Yuji will keep him alive. That was a 2-for-1 trade there. That was honestly a 4 versus 5 fight without aggressive positioning. Nobody was able to heal that Jaina up, even with the ice block. And hey, Lamau actually going to be under heavy siege here. I'd really like to see them hard engage on Yuji. They're not gonna, and he's gonna end up walking with the heal up here. So both teams are gonna kind of reset. They do get a minor lead here when it comes to Gale Force eSports, but honestly, that is scary. If your team blazed and you just lost that fight without an aggressive gust, without a heavy mispositioning there, Jaina was within heal range of use and still ended up dying at that time. So it's just... It's kind of a, I don't know, I would be definitely questioning my composition and what I can get away with at this point in time, especially with the scaling we've been talking about between this Lunara Kael'thas poke style comp.
Well, looks like the shrine should be one here from Gale Force. They've got a lot of poke already. Trying to secure this out. Clo Miss already back in the front line here with DNXN trying to lead this charge. They're on even footing, so they can try and edge on a fight here. And Daihu taking so much damage already. Still no ancestral healing has been used just yet. Daihu going real deep with that power slide. Gets out immediately. Clo Miss taking a lot of damage. So much burst coming out from Lunara and Falset. And the Molten Block has to be used. Can use keep him alive. That's a big mosh pit catching 3 members. But still Cho'Gall stands. Cure getting very low in the backline. But they get the kill on the ETC. They're trying to get out there. But oh, there's just too much damage for Hughes to deal with, and that's going to be a 1 fight for Gale Force.
That was that spread damage that we were talking about, though, with the chain bomb mixed with the Lunara poke there. That the medic is going to have a hard time dealing with. Obviously, the huge mosh was really effective in that time. Medic ended up burning his knockback, wasn't able to deal with that, and so there was a situation to where really... I feel like a lot of it came down to the spread damage, even though, yes, Clawmus was under a large amount of siege, obviously, and usually be able to keep him up, but Medic really struggles with that spread damage that Chain Bomb and Lunar are able to provide. The minute the mosh pit hit, everybody was dying at an equal rate, and he just could not choose to be able to keep any of them up there, so... really well done from Gale Force Esports, setting themselves apart, understanding how to play this composition. I've been really impressed with how well they've been doing this, especially with how Blaze, or at least some of the members here that are playing from Blaze on UTA, have been just so dominant with that hero recently. So it's going to be it's really good from them, and the 20-tier advantage now being picked up for them for their opponents, as long as they don't make any major risks. This is honestly their game to lose at this point, just because of how well they scale and how big of a lead they have.
We do see that Storm Towns are so close here for Gale Force. They're doing a good job of keeping the momentum in their favor right now, as they are so close to Storm Towns about almost a 2-level lead against UTA. So we'll see what they can do to close this out. Looks like they're going to be pushing top line, take a fort, get a little bit of extra experience. I like that Stitches is still bottom, though. just trying to mitigate as much soak as possible. I don't know if they're going to be able to hold this 3 versus 5. Technically 4 versus 5 is Cho and Gale are both here, but they're trying to seed this down. And without the range at level 13, that makes Lunara a little bit less of a sieger. It's harder for her to get in range for the poke onto the fort. But they're starting to will down Claw Miss. He's starting to back out. Stitches is rotating up. Yu's doing the best he can to keep him alive and doing a good job so far. But still almost level 20 here, and still so far to go for UTA.
Yeah, and then once the 20 is achieved here, I'm honestly surprised Gale Force is even risking this right now. Okay, they're gonna be fine with this next. I thought Stitches was gonna rotate up and try and take that at any point. What, like, honestly, the siege over a fort here, I just feel like they don't need to risk that and try and take a fight in more open area. Diving this team, if they mess up at all, they might risk their lead here, even with the 20 tier advantage. But you're right, with the 13 tier, their siege is a little bit weaker, but they're gonna decide to overcommit now. They're gonna be fine. The Stitches on the lower half of the map, and they gave it up for free. So now another structure. Bonus advantage here because the shrine does spawn in the upper half of the map, which is going to lead to threatening a keep here instead. I'd really like to try and see them make something happen with this 20 tier advantage, not letting Stitches just catch them up for free.
Rewind picked up here from Rhaegar, mixed that with the tidal waves at level 13, and this guy is going to be a chain heal monster, and we've seen that it's actually kind of needed. The spread damage between the blizzards that have been just monstrous coming out from Cure, as well as, when we get level 20 on Cho'Gall and he gets a Shadow Bolt Volley Pierce, that extra AoE healing could be very impactful. I don't know if, you have more insight on this. In that situation, is Storm Shield better, or is Rewind with the new tidal waves the better way to go?
I still feel like, for the most part, that Rewind is still the best answer, just because the only problem, well, unless they have a lot of spread AoE, but honestly, when it comes to their comp,
oh, never mind, nothing's gonna happen. Sorry, a gust happened and then he walked away.
As long as oh, there might be a fight engaged up here, but ultimately, as long as they don't have a lot of spread AoE damage, which they really don't, I feel like Rewind is still the better option for Rhaegar in almost every situation. But there is a small amount of poke coming out. Daihu trying to get out of this situation. Ball and Beast throwing out the E there to try and delay a little bit of the auto attacks there, but now finally grouping up. Both teams hitting 20. 3 away here. Mystically is going to be fine there. They only need 2 more, but automatically the force coming out from Cloud Mist. Keep in mind, if you... Oh, there it goes. They do end up getting, but Ayla Mao way out of position.
Yeah, you gotta respect the Shadow Bolt Volley at level 20. The pierce it does is insane.
Oh.
But a big 3-man mosh pit and no way to interrupt it. Mysticles does a lot of damage. Stitch is gonna fall. Ring of Frost used, but doesn't hit anyone. Stitch is still alive somehow. Yush keeping him alive. He does end up going down to the Punisher's beams, though. At the same time, Clawmus diving deep onto Hexo. He's trying to kite back up. Mysticles and Ball and Beast with that Giant Killer are chunking him so hard. They do not end up getting Hexo, and Clawmus is gonna go down for us. Can he get Ball and Beast? And no. Oh, the Molten Armor is used. The shield helping out for a bit here, but that is 3 members down for 1 on the end of UTA. Also, Gale Force eSports, what can they do with this push? I don't know if they can actually get this keep. The Punisher is already at a 3-4 HP, and Hexo is so
Mysticles with the flight!
Still top of, oh my god, but the fly-in, the Gust pushes them back. Can they get the kill onto these guys? The stun goes down on the user, focusing them down, and User's gonna fall. Cure not getting out of here as well, and with 5 members dead, the Punisher's still up. I guess that's gonna be it.
That's gonna be GG.
We should have game.
There, yeah, as long as they stay spread on the corner, they should be fine. They should move in. Don't give a sight of the middle half of the map just because I get paranoid. But then they are going to be able to lock in. They are getting a little bit of spread damage. Yeah, this is going to be GG. They're going to be able to secure this game here. Really well done there from Gale Force Esports. A little bit of a misplay at certain times on positioning out of Yuja, and then just really great Gus really separated them from their opponents. Again, showing that they can deal with the Cho'Gall, even if it is from some of the well-known players that do come from Blaze on that roster. So GG's to Gale Force Esports.
Yeah, really, really well played. It just shows you the late game scaling of Lunara, even with the... we saw Tempest Storm versus Cognitive Gaming today, where they went, even Giant Killer on Vala versus a Cho'Gall. It just shows you how impactful those times are. And if you take a look at the hero damage for this game, of course, Gall is at the top, but guess who's number 2? Lunara. And most of that happens when she starts hitting 13 and 16 and gets in those great talents. Yep. So really showing you the late game potential of this hero.
Yeah, especially when you consider the fact that Falstad's usually considered one of the highest damage dealing characters in the game as long as he's not interrupted too much. And considering they had a Cho'Gall on their team, he got pretty much free reign and still ended up being around 10k below the Lunara. So you were absolutely correct. She did a lot of work that game. The spread damage just absolutely phenomenal, or the poke damage just phenomenal there. Even taking the Giant Killer to ensure a little bit more poke on the Cho'Gall, and really just well done. Honestly, they took them a little bit, it seems like, to figure out what they needed to to do, but all it took was one team fight to win and just to be like, oh wait guys, they really struggle when we engage on them rather than the other way around, and then proceeded the rest of the game, whether it be a mosh pit, whether it be Gus, whether it be just flanking them in general, completely capitalizing on the misplays of their opponents and just walking away with a win.
Guys, before we go into game number 2, we're going to go a quick break. But before we do that, you are watching the Divergent Gaming Open. They are a new organization who has been putting on tournaments for the last several weeks, and they're looking to start putting some prize money into the scene to help these lower level teams, just start putting a little income. That helps them eventually reach the semi-pro status, and it just helps the scene out overall. If you go to the Bonfire Funds link, that will be posted in chat very soon. Click that link, buy a shirt. If they reach the goal of 200 shirts sold, that is 14 tournaments with a prize pool guaranteed throughout the year.
Yeah, no, it's going to be really great. And so hopefully you guys do choose to support us. So thank you very much. And again, we are going to be going to a very short break before we get into game number 2 here between UTA and Gale Force eSports. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you, for you, for you, for you, for you. far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you, for you, for you, for you, for
What an exciting game, number one, as the late game composition of Lunar Kel'Thas won that game for Gale Force eSports, and now they have a 1-0 advantage versus UTA, Heroes of the Dorm team. But Dread, what do you think needs to change going into game two for Huge and Claudius to turn this around to a 1-1 series?
Not picking Cho'Gall. That's my answer. Like,
I think it's very good in their team's hands, but they got these players who are newer to the game, right? You know, they're not as experienced with these kind of play styles. So
it's one of those.
I couldn't agree more.
It's one of those things that it's not even that it's a bad pick. It's just your room for error, right? Like so, like you can pick a comp that's really good, but it's just like has to be done so perfectly to win the game. And I feel like Cho'Gall just makes it to where you have to do so many things right that, like you said, with maybe these less experienced players, all it takes is one of them to make that mistake, and then their comp becomes very much inferior. But we are moving in the draft here of the next game, so we are going to see UTA ends up choosing to ban Falstad, picking the Zagara, GFE as well, going with Jaina and Rhaegar as their response. So really pretty not uncommon pickups here from these two teams. Trying to feel each other out. I personally don't feel like we're going to see too much of another Cho'Gall out of them. UTA is going to be picking this up here. Maybe a Stitches that's going to be hovered. It will be interesting to see. It's a really old school strat, not one that works that well on this map, but maybe Zag Task Stitches together. I feel like they lack a lot of damage, but it is a really old school raw spread damage, sight poke oriented composition that we may see out of this team.
Again, UTA letting Rhaegar through. I mean, talked about how Blaze consistently was letting Rhaegar through the draft to be able to pick up other hero supports such as like Karazim or Lieutenant Morales. So no surprise to see that here. They pick up the Stitches pretty early on. Didn't get the best value on that last map, but that was more of a compositional failure, not something about the hero. And I like this pickup of Karazim as well. You know, the cool thing about, I mean, if Blaze and if Huge and Claudius are the ones doing the drafting, Blaze not afraid to bust out the damage Karazim, which I've seen at top meters in some competitive games. It's crazy enough to say. You know, even with the early pickup of that, you still could end up seeing on the sport. But it's going to be Zeratul instead. So you know, this has been something that's talked about since the early days of the Alpha Dread. Not only do you have the terrifying Void Prison hook combo, but you also have to play around the fact that you're running Devouring Maw and Void Prison, which, you know, the Stitches Zeratul combo is very good, but Zagara Zeratul can very often fall on its face flat if you overlap both Maw and Void Prison.
Absolutely. Those two together are things that can work out really well, but at the same time are pretty difficult, because if you do isolate the team for like the 8 seconds that you can, it doesn't mean that you're actually going to gain anything out of it or get a kill. So it's absolutely crucial you capitalize on that. But Zeratul Stitches, great synergy. Get the hook, Void Prison the team as they come in. Not too uncommon of a strategy there. UTA trying to figure out what the response ban is. Gale Force going with the Tyrande. I wouldn't be surprised to see GFE take a test. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if UTA wants to ban it though. That's what I'm really confused about. UTA's got definitely a little bit of I guess I don't prioritize heroes the same way that they do for the most part. Some of the ones that they do, so like that, they ban out a Cho instead. So then I think a Tassadar will come through here as Gale Force Esports. It just seems to work really well with their comp. Personally, I'd like to see it paired with a melee assassin. Zag is going to be in the lower half of the map. Thrall can't deal with him the best, but I always just love Tassadar, Jaina, and Sonya together. It's such a deadly, deadly combo. The Super Sonya and Jaina slowing in order to enable her to become a god is just so terrifying, especially when you have Rhaegar with that bonus damage and his great healing with her.
I'd actually be really surprised if we saw Sonya because of her nerfs. She's fallen very far down on the tier list for most teams, to the point that we almost never see her picked anymore. I do agree that a melee assassin would be great here. Maybe a Thrall pickup, even with the nerf to Sundering's cooldown. He still fits in very well, and he also fits that pokey type style as well. You can go the Chain Lightning build, and then suddenly you're in your face doing a lot of damage to the front line, and it works very well versus the Zagara as well. But like you said, no surprise with the Tassadar. It's just a good counter versus the Zeratul, the Vision from Oracle, as well as the shields to keep up your squishier members. Really, really powerful.
Yeah, it also works really great against the Stitches. It ensures that the Stitches kind of combos are a little bit weaker. They have one less target that they can go on because of Tassadar. He provides better sight, and then if you isolate him, he'll be able to double E and survive that duration of time that the Void comes out. So he's just kind of a soft counter to their entire comp. So I like that pickup from them. They do end up locking in the ETC, hiding that last pick there. I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, the melee, but UTA needs a response here. They definitely lack a little bit of burst, and hovering over the Vikings, don't know if this is going to be... I personally would like to not see them take this strategy, but it just the weakness of the team fighting and how difficult it is to pull off. Against a veteran team like Gale Force Esports, I feel like it sets themselves really far behind, getting a little bit too flashy, if you will, when it comes to the draft.
Right now, when it comes to interrupts for Mosh Pit, they've got the Devouring Maw as well as the Hook, which is harder to pull off, and then, of course, the Wailing Arrow from Sylvanas. Let's see what the last pick is, as Claudius still trying to tilt me with Hovering Artanis. Does it every single game. One day they'll pick it, and I'll actually be infinite tilt. I don't think this is gonna be the day, though.
Absolutely. So, Tychus... being hovered now. I'd rather
Tilted.
that than Artanis, honestly. No support comp. Let's see it, boys. Brightwing being hovered. I like Brightwing Zeratul together. The pick composite, and it also pairs with the Stitches really well. The global is awesome for this map, and I like it. They do go with Morales. It's a decent pickup as well. I almost like Brightwing more. When it comes to their composition, maybe not. She does struggle a little bit, but I feel like they can abuse some. Illidan being hovered. I don't think this is going to be a thing, but it might be. The Illidan Dream, he's back. Are we playing like 5 patches ago? Is that what we see with this draft?
We're seeing Illidan pop up a little bit lately. I mean, with the buff to both Abathur and Rhaegar, and Illidan, who did get the auto attack buff. I mean, the 3 best heroes have always consistently with Illidan been Rhaegar and Abathur. I mean, ancestral healing and just the aggressiveness of Rhaegar, especially now with Fair Lunge that allows him to keep pace a little bit better. The Light Earth Shield at level 13 as well, and then of course level 16 talent where you just do insane amounts of damage when you're in the middle of a group, which guess what? Illidan always is. Mix that with the Abathur buffs and of course the Illidan buffs. We're starting to see him pop up here and there. It's very hard to let a team. I mean, it's very hard for you to secure yourself Rhaegar, Illidan, and Abathur all in the same draft, so we don't see it too often. But even through the qualifiers, I casted a few sets where Illidan was played, and he's not as prevalent as a Thrall or a Zeratul right now, but he definitely has a place in the current meta.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just it's weird to see the super Illidan like with Tass and everything, and Rhaegar. It's just kind of so old school. One thing that there is to keep in mind here with it being Sky Temple, something that Tempo Storm likes to do, even with the Illidan style comp, is run like, are you going to be looking for Mosh, or are you going to be looking for Stage Dive in this situation, trying to abuse the global there on this map? I know personally I'm a huge fan of the Mosh. I don't like anybody, whenever you have an Illidan, I really don't like the idea of risking not having a team fight centric composition, but
I agree.
But it is something that we do see some of the other teams that have already qualified for some of the bigger tournaments kind of looking at times. So UTA going to be able to figure out if they're going to be able to respond here. They definitely have the potential to pull this game out. Honestly, they have what I consider to be a comp that, like, you don't even have to be better than your opponents and you have a chance of winning the game just because Stitches Zeratul together. That's what it used to be back in the day, right? You could lose the entire game, get one god tier hook, and then Void Prison, and that's all it took. So,
well, guys, we're getting ready for game number 2. As the series is currently 1-0 in favor of Gale Force Esports. If you're a fan of them, go ahead and raise your dongers in the chat for Gale Force, or if you're afraid of the Hybrid Blaze, UTA, University of Texas, and Arlington, Heroes of the Dorm team, go ahead and let them know in the chat. But guys, the countdown has begun. Sky Temple for game number 2. Let's get excited because here we go, Dread.
Yeah, it's going to be. I like Sky Temple. It's one of my favorite maps. I like to see these two teams go head to head here. I want to know how well the bottom lane is going to go for the most part. How does the Zagara kind of match into the Illidan if that's what they're going to have? Or are they going to set Tassadar instead and set Illidan to be kind of a mid or top laner? Their laning decisions coming out from Gale Force are going to be absolutely crucial to their success. Other than that, I don't feel like they have too much to worry about in the early half as long as they don't risk getting Zeratul picked at any point or the Sylvanas heavy amount of siege with maybe a Zag stack lane, kind of a really unique tri-lane approach to this map. They don't have anything really too crazy to worry about. And honestly, I wouldn't put it past UTA to pull out something crazy like that. Like you said, Blaze, some of the players on their team do play for Blaze and do like those really uncommon approach to the game strategies.
Well, we're just about loaded in. Let's get excited. Wade, we're so close. So close. Almost there. Daihu, you can do it, man.
I believe.
You can get there.
He fed the hamsters this time. It's going to happen. There we
Boom.
go.
Here we go, guys. Game number 2 on the left-hand side of the map in the blue trunks. It's going to be the University Texans of Arlington. Heroes of the Dorm Team. Claudius on Zeratul. Yuge playing the Lieutenant Morales Cure on Sylvanas. Mist playing Zagara. And rounding out the team, it's going to be DXN 817 on Stitches.
Sorry about that. I had to fix production. And then in the red trunks, we are going to have Gale Force Esports, who are one game away from winning this tournament once more. We're going to have Hexo is going to be playing on the Rhaegar. Lamau is going to be playing that Tassadar. Mysticles will be playing the Illidan. Ball and Beast will be on the Jaina with that new skin. I like it. And Daihu is going to be on that ETC. Early game definitely going in favor of Gale Force, and they're establishing it the dominance here on the upper half of the map. But the early game cheese is coming into play here on the lower half of the map.
Yeah, and this is like the best tier to do it with. I mean, we saw the change to towers in the last patch where they do 50% more damage, and we saw a stop to the meta that was just, we're going to trade you for a fort. And, you know, that's just it. But it's Sylvanas, guys. Sylvanas still has that ability. Her trait will always keep this potential of a strategy possible. They get the front wall down, and then they're going to start rotating up to the other lanes. Sokum, Claudius is in mid. DXN going to head to the top. But it looks like it's going to be a front wall for a front wall. But how much more damage can this triple lane do? The triple lane is not something we see too often anymore, but this is a pretty devastating one with Sylvanas and Zagara. This fort's going to fall very fast.
Yeah, and they have nobody to really defend. It's interesting they didn't rotate more, so that's going to be a fort for almost nothing here. The front wall just barely being broken. The rotation will be made. Claudius is the only defender, but they just don't have the siege here from Gale Force Esports to deal with this situation. There, ETC rotates down. Zeratul ends up getting picked on the upper half of the map, though, a little bit overextending. They're trying to delay, and that honestly I mean, they just swung the tempo in favor of UTA. They're going to actually get top fort now because of Zeratul's death. That little bit of overextension was enough to make it to where, even though you have the Sylvanas, they end up going blow for blow with you. So really well done here from Gale Force.
Yeah, nice job there, just minimizing the damage that they were taking. You know, they're even on experience right now as the Shrine spawn, and they're in a better position to contest the Shrines because of the tri-lane in the bottom. They already are taking shots from 2 of them. Claudius trying to trade with Mysticles here, but Hexo is with them. I don't know if Stitches and Zeratul can beat Illidan or Rhaegar here. They're trying. New Feral Lunge allows them to be so much more aggressive here. And here comes Jaina coming in. The slows are going to help out a lot here. The body block from Mysticles, that's going to be another kill going on over to Gale Force.
Yeah, and that's the situation they want to avoid at all costs. Daihu doing a really great job of delaying shots here. Tassadar now finally rotating up. But one thing that Illidan is good at, no matter what, I don't care what patch or anything, Illidan will always be good at skirmishes, 2v2s like that. So really risky decision to try and take that 2v2 against the Illidan and the Rhaegar. Both probably some of the best skirmishers of their role. Walking away with the win there. Daihu trying to delay as best he can to ensure his team gets maximum value out of maybe a rotation to mid. Not going to get it, but structurally here, that's something I want to look at. The XP lead is going to fall, obviously in favor of Gale Force by roughly a whole level here, but the shots are really what's going to matter here. And keep in mind, they're overcommitting to this. 3 people on top.
Hexo going to go down. Daihu might not be able to get out here if the hook is there. He tries to dodge the combo, but they do end up getting that kill. 2-for-0 exchange. That still leaves Gale Force with about a full level lead right now. Like you said, the shots that they contained from 2 of the Shrines for such a long time really helped out a lot there. And at the same time, Lamau going to be pushing this bottom lane here with those Siege Giants. You know, really great job, you know, despite the overextension in top lane from Gale Force so far. They're really showing that they, you know, understand how to play this map.
Absolutely, and both teams are almost dead even here at this point. If this front wall goes down on bottom, it definitely will be in favor of Gale Force for a front wall in the structures. But capping an early Giants here, I think that's going to be a sign of a really heavy bottom push here in the near future. Jaina trying to hold her best. Huge Blizzard combo there, getting half their health of all of them, being a great solo defender there. But once they capture these, I think you can expect a 5-man rotation from Gale Force Esports to push on that bottom wall before the shrine spawns. Just trying to abuse their early cap. It's not a common strategy, but one I like to see, especially with the lack of siege they have on that Illidan composition.
Level 7 picked up here for Gale Force. Cleanse picked up on Rhaegar. Don't know if we actually needed that, as the only thing that cleanse is Stitch's hook. And, you know, you can pre-cleanse that as Yuj is going to go down. Cure going to fall as well. Great invade from Gale Force Esports. Is this Bob Ross fan club? Because they came out of nowhere.
Hello? But they are going to get delayed. Claudius making a really bold move here to try and stay on this. Yeah, it might have cost him his life. Miss overextending a little bit. Blizzard coming out that. Oh my gosh, so close to be his life there. Rhaegar coming in, Mysticles as well. This is a double night camp. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't even rotate bottom. They just took out a keep front wall here. This is such big value for them if they do manage to get anything out of this. Not only are these worth more than front walls on forts, but then also it provides better shots in the later half of the game when they do get that top shrine, more likely to get a keep. Structural advantage is huge here, so as long as they don't risk a pick here, one dodge of the hook is about all it's going to take, and they're going to be okay. There it is, no hook. They're going to walk away from the situation and be able to be so far better ahead their opponents. Not even counting the XP, just structurally, I am so afraid for UTA right now.
Level 9 to level 7, UTA down 2 full levels right now, Dreadnought, as we're getting closer to those level 10 heroics. We'll have to see what they're going to end up picking up here. Shouldn't be anything too crazy. I mean, Metamorphosis is still going to be the go-to for Illidan. Here's if we'll see the Ring of Fail, or will we see the Water Elemental this game as well, as they're so close with these shots. They should be able to secure themselves level 10, and I mean, they can't even contest this.
No, they can't even contest it. And Mist is actually maybe overextending a little bit. I'm so afraid for people when they want to try and take these small skirmishes against the Illidan, especially when he's so close to 10. This is going to be the fort for them. I want to see them abuse their XP lead at 10 here to get more structures. If they end up getting this bottom fort here and pushing on mid with their 10 advantage, the next shrine that spawns top is going to lead to almost an entire keep, and that is going to be very early keep for them, so that would be a really big lead there. Let's see how they try and abuse it here. Rotating to mid. There it is, trying to ensure that this goes down. I love this call here. And now they're in a situation to where it's kind of their game to lose. They still have a level of kind of playtime, which here they go. They're abusing it on the keep front wall. Love this call from them. Really well done. Gale Force Esports definitely showing why they deserve to walk away with a win here.
I mean, that's a style we haven't seen in a while, Dread. I know it's one that you're familiar with, that all-in dive in-your-face composition. We got the Metamorphosis from Illidan and the stage dive from ETC, where suddenly it's like, well, there's only a Jaina here. Nope, out of nowhere, you have a Metamorphosis Illidan and a stage dive ETC in your face, and wow. I don't know if I like that. They've stayed top to try and get that fort, and they're going to potentially lose this keep for it. They're just barely going to get out of there, but all it takes is just one person. I mean, ETC could own essentially, oh wow, actually a big VP catching 3 members. Ball and Beast is going to die because this Ring of Frost goes out. It actually hits 4 people. Oh, what a maw coming out from Mist. The Wailing Arrow completely whiffs though. They're trying to secure this kill. Nice knockback from Daihu. He gets the power slide on the Yuj. Hexo does not end up connecting the Ancestral. Mysticles in deep. He's going to fall. The hook does not connect with Daihu, but Claudius blinks forward. Nice haunting wave from Cure to get on top of him. He does end up stage diving out there. Can Ilamao end up surviving this? He's low on mana, he's low on health, he's looking for the hook. They're trying to get on top of him, and they do secure the kill. A 4-for-0 exchange. Talk about being punished for overextending.
I mean, that was a huge tempo swing for UTA, and that's exactly what they needed. But honestly, the real question is it going to be enough? They're still structurally so far behind their opponents, it doesn't matter. One mid shrine is going to lead to a keep for their opponents, and then lead to almost an entire keep on top as well. So there's still a huge uphill battle here, but that was really well done there. Honestly, I'm surprised. Number one, UTA taking a fort for a keep trade there, but then also Gale Force Esports not even just deciding, okay, guys, we're obviously going to die here. Why not just all in the keep? So 2 really high risk, low reward kind of decisions from both of these teams here. But again, this top shrine value, man, is what I'm talking. These values of all these shrines. Oh, the mule.
Not even
the
just
mule.
the shrines, the mule value, Dread. That's what I was talking about. Look at it, man. This is such a good position. I mean, there used to be a time time, guys, where Mule was the go-to pickup in almost every single game, and it's so rare that we get to see it anymore. But this is the value that it has. This is such a huge moment for UTA as they are able to top that off. There was a situation with ETC having stage dive that he would be able to YOLO go into it and finish it off and then just stage dive out if he gets caught, but that's not the case anymore because of this Mule. They do end up catching ETC here. They set him on the power side, but they're going to be able to fall back. Getting a power slide with this composition isn't the best situation for their composition. They don't have, a lot of lockdown. There's no follow-up stuns for the power slide. They're more of a sustain, outlast you type composition, but really great play still, even despite that loss. We still see Gale Force eSports in a significant advantage as they're about to have 3 keeps that are exposed.
The 1v1 on the upper half of the map. Keep in mind, Daihu does have the global here, so he's just trying to delay as best as he possibly can. Whoever gets that actually gains a little bit of XP. Not enough at this point, but the rotations. Daihu just burns his escape. This is most likely going to be his life.
Well, we do see that Daihu is going to end up falling, like you said. That's not the worst situation. You never want to die, but with him having mosh pit or
they lost
stage
more
dive,
on bottom.
he'll be able to come. And then Zeratul ended up going down as well as VP. So yes, he'll be back in the fight in 25 seconds. But that's 80 seconds without Void Prison. That's a long time for that heroic to come back. So they won't be able to contest it for a while. And there's still plenty of shots actually in the top lane to the point where that ETC could just stage dive up there while his team rotates. And I love this call so much coming out from Gale Force. The boss steal is so smart.
Yeah, I definitely like this call as well, and expecting their opponents to make the rotation up there. Really well done. They can stage dive as well. Now with the sight on Stitches on top, they know they have nothing to worry about. If they need him to rotate, they can. But meanwhile, the Mule was last used, I believe, on mid lane. It's going to be off cooldown roughly right around now. We can check. Where is the use right there? He has that Mule up, so he might be able to pop it on bottom to actually save. There it is. It's popped on bottom to try and save this keep, so it's going to be interesting. But Zeratul possibly getting cut out there. No, it isn't. It's going to be only a 3/4 level lead, so ETC staying up top. This siege is going to be really hard. It's hard to siege with an Illidan comp. It really is, especially into a Zeratul, especially with the stage dive. So this might be this is a huge risk.
Yeah, they're going for it, though, Dread. They don't have a talent advantage. They're going to try and make it work. Still 20 seconds on that Void Prison. Mule's doing wonders right now, keeping it topped off. And I agree with you completely, man. This is not going to work out. Stage dive coming in, though. They're going for it. They're trying to get this down.
No Zeratul.
It looks like it hasn't. No force fight. I can understand not wanting to do it because you just don't have the Void Prison. It's still not up 5 seconds. That just shows you that, with dying, he should have just died and not used Void Prison.
Absolutely.
They had to give up that keep because of the cooldown being down.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Void Prison being down, it makes sense why he wanted to back out from that. He is going to be chased down a little bit here, but...
Yeah, they're trying to kite back here, chase down the Zeratul.
Great escape.
Nope. You're not getting out of here, Claudius. He gets the blink away.
He's gonna make the same mistake.
He's looking for it, and he's gonna go down. Void Prison gonna be dead here, Claudius. I don't know if he's gonna be able to get here. Yu's trying to get some power slide, goes down, but that's a dead Zeratul. Nice plays coming out from Gale Force.
He just did the exact same thing, so now he's gonna run into a situation where the next time he needs a team fight, he's also not going to have his Void. I understand not wanting to die there, but I feel like when you're all the way in your opponent's side 1 versus 5, you should just accept the fact that sometimes it's not going to work out here. The Yuge in front is trying to make a big play on the lower half of the map here, but this is a really rough game for his team to come back from. Really good value from Mule, but it's just still not enough.
Oh, nice force wall coming out from Lamar. You get the stun on top of him. DXN with that Putrid Bile trying to kite back, trying to disengage for his team. It might have worked there, but Tastar looking for another force wall. They're keeping up the chase. Their stage dive is up, so we could see an aggressive stage dive on top of Fusion Kerr in that front line. They're still going in for this, though. Mist is getting completely caught here. Nice knockback, and there's the force wall. Mist going to go down despite the 2-man maul. Daihu deep in the backline. Mystically's going for DXN. They're trying to get the chase here. Zeratul completely noping out. Riga Frost goes down, and they secure themselves another kill. And with this 2-man kill, with a double shrine available, Dread, I think this might be guaranteed at least middle keep going down, but if they push
it's a triple keep if they get all the shots.
Triple.
Yeah,
if they get all the shots, yeah.
Yeah, but with Daihu, they have a really big team comp to be able to do that, right? Lamau is going to try and get out. Huge silencing arrow. This might be... Oh, Mystically's barely going to be able to survive this situation. This is really risky. They're still dancing with death here a little bit.
Yeah, they're trying this. It's 3v3. A lot of damage going on the Claudius, though. He does blink out there. Yuge with the big kill. Metamorphosis goes down, and there's the stage dive. You talked about the repositioning from that. Yuge completely isolated. Mystically is going for the kill. He has to be careful, though. Hexo's not here. The Ancestral does connect, and this could be devastating for UTA. They're retreating as well as they can. Mystically is going very deep into this backline. Hook comes out, but it does miss. Yuge just about to fall, and this could snowball into even more deaths. They're going for miss. Future Bile use. That's a very dead Stitches. It's a 5 versus 3. Can they get one more kill? If they get another kill, that could be game, but Mysticles does end up falling, diving too deep into the core.
This is a situation where they didn't need to risk that death at all with those 2 kills. They get a little bit hyphy with the idea of core here, but they do have the Knights pushing in on top here. That's going to help them get more shots. If they honestly secure the rest of these shots, Rhaegar capping on bottom, they're going to get roughly, I'm going to say if they get all the shots, it's going to be about 20% core at this time, but it does look like there's going to be a delay on mid. It's not even going to do that. They aren't even. No, that's not even going to be close.
They have the Mule Knight, so
yeah,
you know, they're able to heal that up. So if they do take a loss, it's not the end of the world. Losing triple creep is definitely very tough to come back, but the Mule allows any core damage to be prevented. Daihu does end up going down. Great Ring of Frost from Ball and Beast. That's going to secure a 1-for-1 trade. Zeratul will be up in 40 seconds, 50 seconds on ETC, as he does have that higher death timer, as he is a full level elite ahead. And then there you go, seeing Mule healing up the core. So it did drop to about 70% there, but the Mule's going to completely negate all of that. It'll heal right up to full there. And a good invade coming out here from UTA as they're trying to force him off this point. Ilama being very low. Mystically's going deep, though. Nice haunting away from Cure. And I don't know if they can get this point. They're trying for it, though. Stitch is coming in. Cure getting on the point. No, they're not going to go for it, actually. Really interesting decision-making coming out from UTA.
I'm just...
Wow, Metamorphosis is doing work there, doing a lot of damage. Just Yuge going down very quickly. At the same time, Rhaegar and Tassadar fall as well. Mist is going to go down. Ball and Beast trying to stay alive. Good hook from DXN. And they're going to end up going for that trade there, but it looks like the lone survivor of this fight should be Mysticles, but Zeratul is up. He's headed over to the fight. Mysticles wants this kill bad, and they get it, but he is so low on HP. Claudius looking to trade us out, but now it is a 1 versus 1 as ETC is just now rezzing here. And honestly, with 3 lanes of catapults pushing in, if they get this lane going in, whoa, VP used there very aggressively. Claudius actually losing this exchange as the minions are helping out a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly kind of flabbergasted by some of the decision making there, like back to back to back. They risk deaths in the mid lane when they have a situation where they essentially have the game pretty much won. Even when there's going to be a mule threatened to the core, they decide to risk their own lives over just getting a couple percent that they're going to be able to mule up anyways. I feel like a lot of this game has been showing Gale Force has a hard time understanding what they can and can't do against this mule composition on Sky Temple here, risking those deaths and then end up taking that fight in the lower half. Again, risking a lead. I feel like their opponents, if they had played it a little bit better, had the opportunity. That was the only chance they had to come back. They luckily did win the team fight, but barely. And so Mystically's getting in the skirmish here. This top shrine is going to be absolutely crucial to be who wins this game, but there's going to be Claudius, and this is most likely going to be the shrine end game.
That just shows you the power of Rhaegar and Illidan as a duo this late in the game. He does so much damage. ETC uses stage dive just to prevent his death. Rhaegar does get the Ancestral with him, and with 2 members down, Yu's going to fall to Mysticles. I think we've got it. The chase is happening. Future Bile is used. Nice route coming out from Jaina. Wailing Arrow used, and they might be able to get Ball and Beast, but nice ice block there. Rhaegar keeping him alive as well, and DXN is going to go down. It's a 5 versus 4. As actually, Yuge, they're having a little back off, a dance off over here on the top right. That's going to be it, guys. GFE, Gale Force eSports with another win here in the Divergent Gaming Open. They're going to take the series 2-0.
Yep, it was really well done, really convincing. I mean, I'm sorry for getting a little quiet there in the middle. I actually had no idea what either team was kind of thinking for a while. There was a situation where Gale Force Esports essentially, they got a little bit of hyphy in the mid lane, right? They were trying to secure the kills in order to get, if they got 1 to 2 more kills, they might have been able to ensure the core. And then they risked death. Claudius ends up securing 1 kill against them, so they weren't able to get much. So they sent Rhaegar bottom and then 3 people top. And risked getting killed in that type of situation, even though they blatantly had an advantage over their opponents, just to get like 5 shots onto the core. Even if they were going to get them for free, it was just so much that they were risking like the death when they was going to be muled up. And it felt like a lot of that game, they kind of panicked when they saw the mule come out. Like they had to force crazy fights, even though they had so many structures over their opponents. Like that fight that they took 4 versus 4 over their own giants, right, was a really... It worked out for them, but I feel like if their opponents played it slightly better in that situation, that was the only way their opponents could have come back, was fighting on GFE's side of the map, and winning a team fight and then taking a keep is the only way they stand a chance at winning the game, and they risked it all even though they have 3 keeps over their opponents. It just seemed like there was so many risky decisions just out of like fear, and it almost felt like because the mule, they're like, we have to, I don't know, it just felt like the minute that mule got maximum value on mid, all of their fights got way more like panicked and forced rather than just well thought out like we normally see from Gale Force.
Well, guys, that was a really great set coming out from these guys. Congratulations, Gale Force Esports, for qualifying. Before we go to our shout-outs, though, guys, you're checking out the Divergent Gaming Open. Make sure you head over to that Bonfire Funds link if you're interested in supporting the league and these guys who are running all these awesome tournaments. If we reach the 200 shirt sold goal for the that will eventually fund 14 tournaments throughout the year, which is really, really awesome. So make sure you check out that link. It'll be in the Twitch chat. But I'm Tempo Storm Zoya. You can follow me on Twitter at Tempo Zoya. You can head over to Tempo Storm and check out our website at tempostorm.com, as well as all our great sponsors, Twitch, G2A, and Fnatic Gear. As well as you like the shirt I'm wearing or this hoodie, you can go over to intotheam.com and purchase some of that swag as well. As well as follow our YouTube channel at youtube.com/TempoStormHeroes. Yesterday, KO released a Li Ming video talking about our counters. Today, I released a video talking about stitches, and tomorrow I'll be releasing a video talking about or the weaknesses I feel in map design for Infernal Shrines, as well as Tomb of the Spider Queen. So if you want to check out some of those videos, you can head over there as well.
Absolutely. And if you guys want to do anything involving following me, obviously I have the same Tempo stuff to promote, but other than that, you can follow me at Tempo Dread on Twitter. I am obviously Dreadnought. My Twitch is Dreadnought_Heroes. And for any coaching inquiries or anything else, whether it be team or individual, that is at dreadnoughtcoaching@gmail.com. Other than that, big shout out to Gale Force Esports for their success here today. Also, a really big shout out to Divergent Gaming for obviously allowing me to cast along with Zoya and everything else that they do for me each and every week. And then obviously you guys should be looking to support them, as we said, with selling those shirts in order to support the scene for the tournaments, for me casting, everything about it, guys. I really do appreciate it. So definitely look to be doing that, looking to help out everybody. And hopefully you guys tune in next week. We're here each and every week trying to provide the best games possible and see if anybody can look to up their game and move on from the amateur to the pro scene, as we've seen a couple of teams do here. So
all right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for next week, as there will be more Divergent Gaming tournaments then. And we'll see you guys later. Meow.